tested my poop. I'm Angela of Grassfed Mama, and if you love videos that talk about low carb, keto, and just healthy mom life, you are in the right place. So make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss an update. This video is sponsored by Thryve. They have a gut health test that helps you understand your own gut health and actually make recommendations to improve it. So I haven't talked a lot about gut health on this channel, but this is something that I have been learning about myself, researching and trying to figure out how I can improve my gut health. I probably said, 60 to 70% of your immunity is found in your gut. And so if you want to improve your health, you have to look at your gut first. That's definitely something that I believe in. But a lot of times we're like, well, how is my gut health? How can we check that? And sometimes we can look at signs and symptoms like are you constipated? How is your poop? Different things like that. Like you can look at signs and symptoms. Do you have skin issues? Do you get sick often? There are other things that may point to, that you have some sort of gut issue. And a couple years ago, I actually went to a naturopath and they did some different tests. I honestly don't know what the test was, but I think they did like a prick of my blood, and she said that I had leaky gut. At that point, I had kind of general knowledge of like what leaky gut syndrome was, but at that point I really didn't know what it was, what caused it, and so it definitely started me on this journey of just trying to figure out how I can improve my gut health. So there's definitely some supplements that you can take, but one of the main things that a lot of people start with are probiotics. But let me tell you that there are tons of probiotics, tons of probiotics on the market, but different strains of probiotics too. So how do you know what is right for you? And that's where, I've just been kind of sitting for a while. I've tried different probiotics, and I feel like during my last pregnancy, I took probiotics for the whole pregnancy because while I was pregnant before, I struggled so much with constipation and bloating and just just a really unpleasant side effects of pregnancy. But with probiotics, it really helped me stay regular. And so by taking probiotics, I definitely saw that it was helping, but was it the right probiotic for me? Since I know that I have a leaky gut, there are some different foods that I might want to avoid. There's some supplements that I might want to take, but how do I know? And that's where I've just kind of been stuck for a while. So whenever I saw that I could test my gut health at home, it really perked up my ears because I don't like going to the doctor, and B, gut health type tests kind of make me a little nervous. It's a little private, it's a little personal, and so it's not something that a lot of people want to go to their doctor and be like, hey, can I get a gut health test? So whenever I saw that I could do a home test, I could do it discreetly, I could do it easily. The sampling process was super easy. I knew that this was something for me. And after I did it for myself, I was like, this is something I believe everyone should do, even my kids, to just assess, are we healthy from our gut all the way outside? And where do we start to improve our gut? And so this is like the next step forward for me taking ownership of my own health, is to not just know like, hey, we need to take probiotics, we need to do stuff that are gut friendly, we need to take collagen that's good for a leaky gut. Like there's different things like that. But how do we, what's the test to know where's our baseline? And what specific things can we do to improve our health? So this cute little box comes with everything you need. You activate it, connect it to an account with your phone. They send you an email and everything so that you know when your test arrived and that when your results are available. So it was all super easy, super duper clear. This was the box that had the collect all the stuff in there. And then you basically have a box that's the same size that you mail back. So obviously that is missing because I had to mail that back to get my results tested. obviously the sample involves poop, but they only need a little bit, like a rice, size, a grain of rice. And so you're not going to have to send in a huge sample, which was very reassuring to me, because I was a little nervous about the sample collection, even though I was gonna do whatever it took to get these results, because I really wanted to know. If gut health is something that's on your mind, you don't have to worry any longer. You can take the next steps to know what to do to improve your personal gut health. So let me just walk you through. So with Thryve, they have their own dashboard so that you can track your results, but you can also track how to improve your health. And I thought that that was so unique and original, because there's so many different blogs and different things like that you can read, and they'll make recommendations, but they don't know specifically about you. And so by doing this test, you get a snapshot of what is actually going on. And so with my gut health score, can you see, I got an 84, which it says that that's good, and it says to keep it up. So that means that all these probiotics that I've been taking, all the collagen, all the greens, all the prebiotics that feed the good probiotics, that is all working. And so I can't tell you if my leaky gut is healed or not, but what I can say is, since I've been trying to take actions to heal my gut and just being more gut health conscious, that it's actually working. And so that's something that gets me excited. But what is cool, and this is something that just really stood out to me, is that you can get a personalized probiotic. And when I looked at what was recommended for me, those were probiotic strains that I wasn't supplementing with. And so it really made me realize, wow, there was more I could be doing, and this was specific to me. And I know so many people, like, they might be saying, I took a probiotic and it did nothing, or I did this and it didn't help anything. And what was eye-opening to me is that maybe it's a specific probiotic that they are missing, or it was a specific probiotic that I was missing. And so what on their website, they tell you what these different probiotics do. And so it was showing my bacteria level is at 70%. So I still could get some help. But then there's also a food plan, a personalized food plan. And what is so cool about this is it tells you foods to fill up on and foods to avoid. And so I thought that that was very interesting. Some of the foods to avoid was spaghetti squash. And I love spaghetti squash. So I'm gonna look into that a little bit more, because as a low carb keto eater, there's some of these things that I'm like, oh gosh, like I eat that, and it says to avoid squash, spaghetti, it's pretty much just all the squashes it says to avoid, because they feed a certain bacteria that I have an abundance of. And maybe that's because I eat a lot of squash, I don't know. So that was interesting to me. Then, this is something that was very interesting. So it has these like common symptoms, poor sleep quality. I don't struggle with it as much anymore. Specifically, I feel like, I think a lot of my issues with my sleep quality go back to my blood sugar issues. So if I'm not, like, I could tell if I would eat like a high carb meal or a dessert, especially if I would eat a dessert, like we were celebrating an anniversary or we went out on a date, and I would have dessert that night, I would have either a lot of trouble falling asleep, or I would have night sweats or something like that. Like there were big signs that were like, ooh, that was not very good. That was not a good choice, Angela. So poor sleep quality is one of the symptoms that if I lack certain probiotics. And what is so interesting is that so many people struggle. I'm gonna tell you the rest of my symptoms, but so many people struggle with symptoms, and how few of us go back to our gut health, even though it's known now that our gut health is primarily the foundation of our immunity, but it's also the foundation of our health in general and our well-being. And so many people are like, I deal with this, I deal with that, headaches, or, you know, that's not on my list, but all these different symptoms. And is it correlated to our gut health? and what we're eating. Abdominal pain and bloating. If I don't eat correctly, if I eat a lot of grains and breads and things like that, I definitely feel bloated. I don't think it might be a gluten sensitivity. I don't think it is, or an intolerance. I don't think it's an allergy, but that is definitely something that I deal with. And if I don't eat keto, I'm bloated. And so if I go on vacation and I just go off track, I definitely am bloated like the whole time, and it's just part of, like, I've accepted it, you know, and so that's not a very good thing to accept, because that's a high indication that something's not right with your digestion and that something, your body is having trouble breaking it down, and which that leads to me needing some of these probiotics that I'm probably lacking on. And then it picked up almost 50,000 gut bacteria from our sample. So I did the sample, and it took maybe 1 to 2 weeks to get my results back. And like I said, it was so customized to me. I just felt seen almost, like, wow, this is so unique. I've never had this type of gut analysis done before. And I've seen lots of different types of doctors, and even talking about bloating and things like that, they've never even recommended a gut health test. And so that was something that, you know, you can say, this is something I want to know more. I want to know more about myself and my own health. And so that's something that's really, really cool, that you can do this. It's a home test. Discreetly do it. No one has to know about it, except I'm letting all y'all know about it. And you can use my discount code, and you can save even more right now. And so that's something that's really great, that Thryve is offering that to you, so that you can take control of your own health and know what's going on inside your gut. And so I want to empower you to take this for yourself and really know what's going on. And you get all this personalized plan, which is amazing. And what is really cool is that they give you recommendations to actually improve your health, because it's not like, take this medicine or this, you know, it's just like, this is the big picture here. These are your symptoms, and here's some different foods you might want to avoid. These are some foods you want to include. And so I really like that you get this whole big picture of how you can improve your gut health. And like I said, you know, that might not be something you've ever done before. Like, I've never done anything like this before, and so it was very eye-opening. And then it was encouraging whenever I saw I had a pretty good score. I mean, 84, I would, you know, be pretty happy with that. I really, you know, I'm kind of a high achiever, so if it could have been in the 90s, that would have been even better. But now, knowing what I know how to improve it, and so that is very exciting. I think everyone should know what's going on inside of them, and what's a better way that you can do this at home. So it's super easy, and you know what your gut health is, and you can make the next steps to improve your gut health when it matters most. And that's where your health starts, is in your gut. And remember, you can get your own test today using my link, which is in the description below.